lovers of pop culture and toys got together on the internet and they started making noise. So everybody, let's join Jesse Arnold and his buddy Curtis Ackerman, because when indulging in fine geekery, it's always best to bring a friend or two. Shooting the shell. Everybody loves shooting the shell. Shooting the shell. Let's start shooting the shell. You're gonna love it now. Let's start shooting the shell. Just might make you say wow. Let's enjoy some fun conversation. We'll be shooting the shell around the nation. Let's start shooting the shell.
Woohoo!
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Shooting the Shelf, episode 4, season 3. We've got a fun show planned for you tonight. At least I think. I don't know half of the things that are happening tonight. So, Curtis is doing Curtis magic over here. Speaking of Curtis magic, how's Curtis doing tonight?
I'm doing excellent. I'm pumped up. That theme song always gets me just ready to go, man. I'm raring. I know you're still kind of under the weather and not feeling great, so we'll try to have some fun tonight. Try to take your mind off of some sicky ickiness. But yeah, we got a fun one lined up. Initially we were going to have a gentleman, Muhammad from Toyology, on here. Unfortunately, his schedule is just one where it kind of didn't work with the times. We're going to try to reschedule him if we can for down the road. We'll try to, towards the end of the episode, get into his Instagram and kind of look at some of that stuff, because really we wanted tonight to be about posing action figures. It's a posing spectacular, and we have another amazing poser that's with us, along with a friend. So before we get to that, let's holler at some people in the chat. I see we've got Dave Workin, we got Purple Gang, Rygon, Kirby Smith, Andy the Collector, Wholesome Warlock, as well as Purple Gang. We got Tanya McCoy winning all kinds of drawings, or Mythic Legion. I got to go find something good out of the garage. Steve O'Beg, Oz is out there. We got Van, Joe Vassapolo in the house. One Darla Ackerman, Joe Gonzalez. I am TJ Williams, Kevin McCoy. We got both the McCoys, folks. Captain Firebeard Baker from across the pond. Matt Stein. Let us know. I don't know. I'm going to say Stein. 1-6 shooter, Raylan Chisholm. We got a lot of folks out there. T. Bellet.
Nice.
G is out there. Juan. EM Customs. We got Eric Miller in the house. Mark Rivera. So a lot of folks.
And before we do that, real quick, I'm going to say a quick thank you to folks who did super chats last week during our episode with Eric Chouette. So thank you to Maverick, Rob Zamora, Eddie, Louis Farrow, Joe Gonzalez, G, 1-6 shooter Trevor. Did I say Rob? Yes. And let's see. I think that's it. That was it for last week. So thank you all for the super chats.
I did have a request when it comes to the super chats from John Caulfield in the customizing studio today, which, by the way, everybody missed you. He said there's also a super thanks that you can turn on where it allows people to give even if they listen on replay. And so if that's an option that you can turn on, he said there's some other channels that have that on. He would appreciate kind of giving back to us as well. So just FYI.
Right. I'll look into that. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. But we have a lot going on tonight. We've got a posing spectacular. We're going to talk about some cool stuff. We got some great guests. You want to bring them on, Jesse?
Yeah. So we've got, where are my buttons? We've got the one and only Legion's Len. How's it going, Len?
What's up, everybody?
What's going on, Len?
Not much, guys. How you doing?
That's a nice Jesse flannel you got there.
I know. I wear it
Like,
in
for
honor.
everybody disappointed,
And
I
he's
have
not.
flannel on the back of my chair.
Okay,
right?
gotcha.
There's a flannel blanket right over here, so there's flannel plaid stuff within plenty of reach.
Yesterday on Purple
All
Gang
right.
Gang show, there was a lot of people asking for some just Shelve it flannels. They want, yeah. So just FYI, it's a thing. So
Let's see, we got
another guest, don't we? Oh,
There we go.
There he is, the Lord,
Hey, guys.
Stephen Bushotee. What's
What's
up,
up?
Stephen?
Not much, man.
You
Just,
here to educate us?
I'm here to join in the discussion. That's what I'm here for.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, guys, we have a surprise for you. You know, Jesse and I were messaging each other beforehand. You were wanting to know kind of what we were talking about. You know, we figured if you guys were going to join us on the show, we needed to surprise you with one more guest who decided to wake up just for this. Emil Wickman.
Oh no!
Good morning, guys.
Oh.
Emil.
Good morning, buddy.
Wow, you did want a Wolf King centric episode.
How's it
I
going,
think this is
Emil?
Curtis just trying to make himself be on Legion's cast.
Yeah, I'm forcing my way on by bringing you on this show. But,
If I can't go to them, I'll bring them to me.
did you get your coffee in you, Emil? You feeling good now?
The coffee is here. I'm
Yeah.
still looking forward to go to sleep. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
It's funny though because he was in the green room while we had you guys on before we started the show, and I was sitting here trying not to crack up because he's like I can see his camera still, even though he's not on screen, so you guys couldn't see him, and he's like dancing in the background and stuff. It was hilarious. Yeah, it was awesome. So, I see Mark Halseal in the chat. Hey, Mark, I know you didn't make it to the customizing studio today. I want to let you know I told the rest of the studio when I die, I'm going to donate my eyes to you so that you can learn how to paint something besides goblin eyes. So just FYI.
Damn.
Yeah.
You want him
All
to
right.
paint your eyes?
No, just to have a frame of reference for him. Yeah. So, all right. Ready for some shelf selections, guys?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Starting out, the first one is from Len LaGuardia.
It's me.
It is.
This.
I'll go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No,
I
do
was-
you? Go ahead.
This is Sean Keaveney, and
That's
I
why I let you
believe
do
that
it.
you found this from the Cabal, or was this the Wolf Den?
Cosmic Cabal.
Cosmic Cabal. Okay.
Did you know there's a Cosmic Cabal?
I have heard. Yes.
That's
Yes.
where this came from.
Gotcha. Okay. So tell us what we got here.
This is a really cool Sentry, and Sean did a repaint of it totally with what looks to me like an orange drab green with a brown or like a clay, right? Like a terracotta color. And he used the Noodlehead Ned head to do like a really cool futuristic type of I guess alien, or he could be wearing some kind of like grease paint soldier. And he used a McFarlane Build-A-Figure Batman Future's End gun to replace the arm with.
Yeah, that gun's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
That's
that
pretty
gun's really awesome.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what he says it's from. It's from a McFarlane Build-A-Figure Batman Future's End. And I noticed in the comments that our good friend Joe Vasapolo, he even said, "I'm glad you figured out the arm because it works so well." So I guess
Yeah.
Joe had his eyes on it, but it's pretty cool. Looks awesome.
Yeah, it's
really
cool. I mean,
nice.
that's a awesome head sculpt. Anyway, I love that Noodlehead Ned, and you know how I feel about the Sentry body. Like any way you paint it, it looks amazing. So,
Yeah.
what you got, Jesse?
What?
I was just
I
asking
said
your comments.
I said I think it looks awesome. That's like a very, I don't know, the grin on the face, on the head sculpt and everything, and the gun. It just, I'd be nervous to be around this guy.
Steven, Meal, anything?
I really love the gun. The gun was a great choice. At a glance, I was almost wondering if that was some combination or some modification to Vorga's gun at first glance, and then so that's awesome. I mean, that's a great head from Wolf King up there. And it's just super. I love the expression on the head, and just to put it all together, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen it painted like it. I'm guessing it's like an alien or something. It's definitely not just a like Caucasian flesh tone. So that's interesting to paint it a different way like that.
Yeah, it looks like the arm's a complete arm, right? Like all the way up to the shoulder.
It does look like the upper arm is part of that as well. So yeah,
and the shoulder full-grown style as well. Everything on it.
Gotcha.
That's a cool one.
Yeah, it actually it is really neat.
Cool. Next one is from me. And this is gprime.t on Instagram. And it's just a cool Mafex Batman choking out the Joker in the rain. So I saw this pop up on my Instagram feed and I was like, that's pretty cool. I like it.
I don't know why, but the first thing that goes through my mind is that Evanescence song.
Yeah. Okay.
Which one's that? The one. The one.
The one. Gotcha.
With Amy Lee.
The one that was in Daredevil. Yeah. Well, I mean, she is.
I'm sorry.
That is not the one they had playing over this. They had Died in Your Arms. So there you go. It's a little joke because he's choking him, but all right. Anybody else?
I have a question.
I love it.
Yeah,
he's awesome. Curtis, do you like Batman?
I do. I like any Mafex, but yeah, definitely Batman. So.
I feel like we shelf picks are pretty Batman heavy.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely.
Did you have Batman last week too?
I may have. I just picked stuff that I think it looks cool. So
nothing wrong with that. I love Batman.
Yeah.
Definitely not going to see any themes in my pictures this week.
For sure not. Yeah. Speaking of which, here's Jesse's first one.
So, Lady Alexis 31 on Instagram, Moon Knight and Khonshu. I like it because it took me a minute to because I was looking on my phone. So I was trying to the colors are different between Khonshu and Moon Knight, but the way he's Moon Knight's kind of out of focus a little bit in the foreground. It just took me a minute to really look at it and take in what was going on. I liked that it made me think about it and not, just skip past it. So I thought that was pretty cool. And just the whole Moon Knight bowing before Khonshu is pretty cool visual. So
yeah, I agree with you, Jesse, that it makes you just want to figure out what's going on, right? It has that kind of feeling.
Yeah, and this kind of when I saw Jesse sent this pic, it had popped up right after an awesome custom. I saw that some guy in the Cabal did a Moon Knight custom, and it came out really fantastic. Not sure who that was, but it came out really, really good. So maybe check out the Cabal, or if you scroll through Instagram, you might be able to find it. So
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll have to go look for that later.
Yeah. Anybody else? Steven? Len?
Cool angle. Cool pick.
Yeah, I love Moon Knight. Love me some Moon Knight.
And, the crash box, you can kind of throw that in with anything, whether it's Marvel, Mythic, whatever. Good stuff. Here's another one of Len's.
Oh, it's me again.
Yep. Jonathan Hughes.
It is. Jonathan used the Lupus Rex Gladiator set that we sell at Wolfgang Customs. And I think he bought this as one of the blind buy packages. He got cool. A Gladiator, and I sent him that. I think that's what it was, because he bought a bunch. And I thought it was really cool because I've seen this done a lot. I know a lot of people that like it. I know, Jesse, I know you love this set, to paint. It's really fun to paint. And I think he he went a little more than I've seen a lot of people do, and he went in and did the eyes. And those suckers have to have been, I would imagine they would be hard to do. It was the type of thing where we were doing this set where Gia, the artist that I worked with, was like, you know, he just does that with that much detail, and I could have had him peel off it, like, and be like, no, you know, we don't need to put those eyes in there because no one's going to paint them. But he did, and I just let it go, and it print okay, and I think that this came out really cool. You know, Jonathan did a really good job on it. It's a beautiful job.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people just kind of like basically dry brush the whole thing and kind of treat it like the eyes is part of like the armor of a helmet or something, which is fine. I mean, it looks great either way. But yeah, not only did he do like the eyeballs, but I believe it's hard to see on this, but I believe that like you can see like the skin, like the eyelids as well.
Yeah.
So
he
yeah,
did the face too. If you look at under 4, he did the face too, which I don't know how he did that.
I don't know either, but
I've done those on my as well. I've done the eyes and the face on most of these that I've painted. I think one I did the mouth just as part of the helmet, just because I was getting frustrated that day. But yeah, it's a pain to paint inside those teeth.
Yeah,
but it looks cool when you get it right.
Yeah, we did not solicit this super chat, just FYI. But this is from Kent Pool Collects, $4.99. When is the God's Fire 24 reveals? So we will not badger these guys about God's Fire, but if they want to talk about it at all on the show, we'll definitely let them have the floor. So just FYI.
Let's do that.
All right. Okay. We'll make some time for that. Next one is by me or from me. It's Action Figures Snaps on Instagram. That's with a Z at the end. And I thought this one was cool. He had a behind the scenes one where basically he took the bottom part off of those stormtroopers and like put them in the, like there's like a little, it was like a creek or something where it was like water, but right underneath it was like kind of mud. So he put them down in there so that they would look like they're kind of way down in. And then he put a figure stand. I think it was similar to those ones that you were talking about, Steven, that you got for your Joes, those clear ones. Yeah. He put that figure stand in there and then put the Obi-Wan on top of it, so it looks like he's walking on the water. And yeah, I just thought this came out really good. Just, you know, looks like they're sinking and he's just walking right by them. So
that's really cool. And
yeah, I saw the behind the scenes for it. I didn't see the finished picture, so I'm glad you picked this one. But yeah, that was really cool.
Cool. Anybody else?
Yeah, that's awesome.
We do have a comment I want to pull up here from Joe Vassapolo. God's Fire needs face plates for the X Guard helmets. So there you go.
Put it on the list.
Yep. Next one is from Jesse.
Ooh, so this is Scott.blind Instagram. Of course, it's Thistlethorn, and you know that always grabs my attention. But I just love this kind of like dynamic action pose of him like going into battle against some goblins, and I'm not sure if this is a diorama or if this is it looks like it might be a diorama or something, and not actually outside, but either way, looks really cool. A lot of fun. I like how he got Thistlethorn pose there, like with the egg, the angle on the knees and stuff. Looks like you know, it's like sliding into base or something kind of a thing.
I love this. This is fantastic. I love the angles. I love the way you see movement there. I mean, you looks like it just is a snap of an action shot. Looks to me, my brain just follows the story out, and looks to me like Thistlehorn's on the run and he's trying to escape these guys to me. And I love the blurred out background. This is a really cool shot.
Yeah, this is probably one of the coolest Thistlethorn photos I've ever seen, actually. It's up there.
Yeah, I think, you know, obviously we're going to be talking about posing action figures today. And there's just, this really tells a story with the way that it's posed and the movement. It does look like he's running, but at the same time he is on guard to, block any attacks that's coming his way. And yeah, it's just done really well. I even like the lighting. I don't know if any of this is photoshopped or if this is all natural, but the way that light is reflecting off of his weapons is really cool as well. So
it really looks like Thistlehorn is he's getting away by the skin of his,
Oh yeah.
Oh, see, I don't see a retreat. I see him moving forward, like into battle.
I see him running. I see him running.
I see him sliding into battle, like he's going in low. He's going to take that gobbo out at the knees.
Interesting.
I see both.
Thistlethorn doesn't retreat.
Wow,
so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Sometimes you have to retreat to advance, Len.
No.
Maybe he's just dodging the axe swing of the goblin.
Best offense.
Steven is the one retreating. No. Always charging. Isn't that the mode?
Gotcha. All right.
You might even say he's panning the slope.
You could say that. Yeah, you could definitely say that.
He may be panning the slope.
$2 super chat from Van Johnson. Will Shooting the Shelf be talking about Brett Stoddard's photography?
Maybe.
I don't think we were planning on it, but it doesn't get talked about enough. That is something for sure. If you guys haven't checked out his photography, you should check it out. He's awesome. So next one is from
Evo, what do you mean I don't have themes for my selections? Neither of my pictures have connected yet.
Yeah, that's true. This one is another one from Len. And this is, I don't know if I can see that on the bottom. Steve, I think something.
Derek Stringer.
Oh, Derek Stringer. Never mind. I was not even close. Go ahead.
Derek is he's been painting a lot of Wolf King stuff and everyone's stuff for a long time now. It's a very unique style in his paints. And I think it's cool. It's a very, it's more of a muted palette. And he did this really cool Luigi with like a soft good outfit that he found from somewhere. He used Steven's what's his name again, Steve?
Oh gosh, what's that guy's name?
I know he's from the Pure, but
Unyielding?
The Unyielding.
Yeah.
He used that head. He must have used some Sculpey to make the hat.
He sculpted the hat.
Yeah, and then he used our wrench, the Wolf King. That's an old one, the wrench, and he used Emil's shoulder pauldron, and I think it turned out really cool.
I love how he painted that pauldron like the turtle shell. That's cool.
Yeah, that was a great touch for this one.
He really painted that head nice. I'm impressed with my own sculpt because of his paint job.
That's awesome.
Well, only Steven takes somebody's photograph and impress himself with it.
I said because of his paint job.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
like sometimes you get a Black Series figure, and it's like, man, this face sculpt is really good, but the paint app on it is absolute garbage.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying. Never, all right, that's I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, that didn't quite come out. I think the way that, but yeah, it's. All right. Next, this one is from me. This is J. Man, I can't see that. Is it JL Customs and Collectibles or JJ?
JL.
I think it's JL. JL Customs and Collectibles on Instagram. And it's just like a good mix of parts. A little fodder, I believe, on the shoulders. You got the Xylernian guard helmet. You got the just some regular knight parts mixed together, and then the leather gloves. I just thought it was, I don't know, it created kind of this unique look to it. That just for some reason when I was scrolling through, this just popped out at me. So
yeah, that's cool. It looks like it's got some Sarah Wayne, maybe.
Yeah,
possibly. Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I like whatever that sword is too. Like that hilt is really. My brother made me like a wooden sword when I was a kid, and it had a hilt. Like the design of the hilt across there is very similar to the one he made out of wood. So that grabbed my attention right away.
Something about it makes me feel like he's rapping.
Okay.
Rapping
like presents.
No,
like he's coming in like in those like tunnel videos where he's like coming in at the camera.
Yeah, like he's at the edge of the stage and he's like,
Yeah.
wrap.
All right.
I learned something new. Thank
There,
you.
there you go. This one is from Jesse.
So this is Dusty Dang Studios, and dang if this isn't almost a perfect piece of artwork, except he's got that lift pauldron on her.
Yeah.
No, this is really cool. Every time I see people doing artwork based on the figures, always really gets my attention and everything. And this just, just killed it with this one, because Vorga is the best Cosmic Legion they've done so far. In hand.
The first coloring book that he came out with was absolutely phenomenal. I know that he's been working hard to get another one together with some more cosmic stuff in it. And I believe this is one of the entries, and yeah, this thing it's drawn really well. I like the coloring that he put on it. And it's just going to be a fun one, once you get that next coloring book of his to, just work on. So
$5 super chat from Hedgehog. OMG, this show is so HOT now.
there you go.
Oh, was I not supposed to spell that second one?
No, he's I think he's channeling his inner Zoolander on that one. So okay, well, Steven, I know Dusty's from your neck of the woods, right? Isn't he near you guys?
No, I don't think he's super close.
Oh, okay. I thought he was up in that area. What do you guys think of this?
I think it's awesome. It's great art. It's a cool angle. I mean, come on, it's Mythic Legion's art.
Did you ever get your coloring book from him?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I had to. I chased him down, and he kept making excuses, but I got it.
All right. Beautiful. No more for Len. So this is my last one. This is Shaky Cow on Instagram, and he wasn't shaking much when he took this photo because it is awesome. He's got a little behind the scenes thing on this, where he's got like this holder that's actually holding like normal size playing cards, like real close to the camera, and then the Gambit, further back, and then has this like pink smoke going. And yeah, I just thought this was real cool, throwing the cards right at the camera shot. And it's Mafex and it's Gambit, so it's combining a bunch of things that I like. There you go.
That's Mafex? That's not the
That's
Marvel
the
Legends?
Well,
The 97 Marvel Legends?
yeah, you might be right. I believe you're right. I believe that is the 97 one. Yeah, but Gambit still looks great. Awesome.
Yeah.
This is probably the best Gambit picture you have picked for a shelf selection. The pose is great. I like the trick with the full size cards up close. It's really cool. This is a great shot.
And typically when we throw these up here, like we can only throw one shot, but a lot of these folks do have the behind the scenes stuff. So if you see anything on here that you like, follow them on Instagram, check it out, look at the behind the scenes stuff, because it really is pretty cool. So we do have a $2 super chat, Purple Gang Gang, CNG MFK Len Emil Steve. Okay. I believe that's Curtis and Jesse. Mary something kill.
Oh, Mary.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But there's yeah, that I don't think Jesse will play that game. So I would definitely play that game, but I'm not going to do it if Jesse's not. So
that's so horrible of you to say you want to play that game.
And Jesse's last shot,
and you want to kill me? Thank you, Curtis. It's like, please come on the show.
Hey, nobody's killing you, buddy.
I'm sadly pretty sure how that would end.
Yeah. So this is Jesse's.
So the surprise twist, it's another Thistlethorn picture.
What?
From Ben Art 1965 is our our friend Dave Bennett, who after being on the show a couple weeks ago has launched his Instagram page. So make sure you go check out Dave's stuff over there. So that's Dave Bennett. This is one of the first
Awesome, Dave.
pictures he's done, or at least posted on there anyway. So yeah, definitely cool. And, you know, complete opposite of the other picture where Thistlethorn was getting into battle and he's just chilling on a stone throne, which looks insanely uncomfortable. But you know what? You got to take a nap when you can find your spot. So,
Okay, story question. When is this taken? In Thistlethorn's life, when is this taken?
This is the moment that he's waiting for the Mandalorian to come back and talk to him, and so he's just laying there on the throne. Oh, sorry, wrong. That's a different. That's Bo-Katan. Sorry.
I would say this is maybe right, like the day after, or whenever the festivities for Artemis's coronation ceremony. Where things have kind of died down, they've cleaned up, and he's just like, you know,
drunk.
Mark Rivera says apparently Thistlethorn survived the last pick. So
yes,
there you go. Yeah.
Thistlethorn always survives.
Yeah,
beautiful. Well, that is it for shelf selections. So there we go. Gentlemen, I know we're going to talk a lot about posing. We're gonna have a good discussion. We got a lot of pictures lined up from Steven. But first, Jesse, the rest of us had a surprise for you on the show. You know, we've seen your shelf selections for a while now. We kind of know what things you like. And we noticed there's kind of something missing in the customizing world. You know, if you're an orc fan, there's all kinds of orc sculpts out there. If you're a skeleton fan, you can find skulls everywhere. Emil's doing like 50 a week. You know, if you want a goblin, there's plenty of those. But we know you like a certain hairy group of folks. And, you know, the Fuzz Monks, they're actually a property of Four Horsemen. So it's you know, it's one of those that you're probably not going to, unless they put out another one, I don't think you're going to see some in the customizing community. But that didn't stop us from thinking, is there something we can do? So let me just pull this up real quick. And this is being revealed for the first time, coming soon from Wolf King Customs, sculpted by the amazing Emil Wickman. These are the Jesslins, the Jesse Goblins, coming to you from Wolf King Customs. Here is the first one. We do not have names for these yet. Didn't know if you wanted to participate in that. Len will definitely come up with some very unique names like he typically does, but if you're interested in naming this is the first one. And Emil, you want to kind of talk to us about your thought process going through sculpting this guy?
Yeah, sure. So Curtis was very stern with me. No, it's his idea to make something for you, you know. So the initiation is from Curtis Hard here. Going to sculpting a furry little creature that is not supposed to be, well, obviously it's not supposed to be the Fuzz Monks, and it's not supposed to be a known critter that, you know, like it's supposed to be a breed on its own. So mixing goblin and fur and cuteness, that was the plan. And then I did it, and Curtis said, not cute enough. And then I, of course, redid it. And the other guys were just sitting by and just like letting Curtis bully me about it. And now Curtis is happy, and it's like, now it's ready for Jesse. That's basically the process. And it was,
you might have taken a few liberties there, but yeah, it's fairly accurate.
Sculpting the hair on these are, you know, I try to sculpt the hair as much individually as possible. That's part of, you know, how I'm doing hair at the moment. So
I don't. I
Speechless, huh?
It's okay. This is
Yeah.
like when you give a birthday present to someone and he opens the present and it's like, oh, this is not good.
So
How do I say? How do I say?
no,
Thank you?
It's gonna
no,
rage.
because see,
Sorry, I'm
this-
just making fun of you, Jesse. So
He's gonna end the stream and walk off, like
Part
I
of
was
the
reviewing
reason-
Power of One.
these
part of the reason I've been drawn to the fuzzmonks is because they're very similar to creatures I created in my world called the Kipniches. And they were basically like short, like the hobbits of my world. So like little halfling size. And it was like a little poem at the beginning, they're described as like, they looked like, living teddy bears with kitty cat ears or something like that. So like, this is almost exactly how I pictured it in my head. So like, this is,
okay.
Okay,
That turned out really
I'm
good.
having
Well,
like,
then
I'm
that's
having
good.
like an out of body experience right now. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Well, hold on to your body for a second because this is only the first one. We also have this wizard one. And for this one, I think, after the first one, I think Emil got some feedback and you want to tell us a little bit about what went into this one, Emil?
Well, basically, he needs a mustache. Says one of the guys in this chat, and I got a drawing. Like a second afterwards, he needs this, drawing a mustache, and another guy who said he needs a hat. You may guess who made what with, and so I was like, so what about the first one? And then Kurt is like, I think he needs the stash and the hat. So that's kind of the first response. So that's it.
So you can't see it from this photo, but if you look from the side, that hat kind of like falls back over. It's very wizardy, Gandalfish, or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
So that it kind of like folds over the back. And yeah, Steven actually did a drawing for this with the mustache, and
Yeah.
So it's kind of Steven's initial design on that. So Steven, you want to kind of talk about your thoughts on that?
It's real simple. I saw what Emil did, and I said it needs a stash.
Okay.
And then I was at work at the time, so I grabbed a piece of paper, and I drew a little ink sketch of what Emil's little render looked like with a stash. And I said,
Yeah.
do this. And as you can see, he did it.
All right.
But I love
Yeah,
it.
he
I think the stash really worked. It worked better than I thought it was gonna.
Yeah. So that is the second one. And we've got one more for you, Jesse, because
What?
we couldn't create, a set of characters without throwing in a girl. So there we go.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
we knew you would have to have a female in there. So Emil, you want to talk about this last one?
Well, we needed to start off with both a male and a female, of course. And with the female, it was kind of like, make it less, more like Lady and the Tramp. Tramp is more like lots of hair, and make it more feminine by making it slightly smoother, smaller nose, and then make sure that the hair around the eyes could, get the feeling that it's like eyelashes, but it's, it's fur going on there. And for the hairstyle, we were playing with ideas. I actually spent a lot of time doing a hairstyle that was like, what do you guys say? Think about this one. And honestly, though, the reaction I got from them it was the best reaction in hindsight. But at the moment, it's like, that hair sucks.
Well, I don't think we saw.
That's not what I said.
Yeah, we said save it for an Elvis one.
I said, why did you
Yeah.
give it Steven's hair?
Yeah.
It did have hair like, yeah. If I was
I think you had Steven on your mind.
if I was a Jesselyn, it probably would have looked like that.
Yeah, so well, then you're right. They actually said this. They didn't say it sucked, but they said all of these things. So then we're like, give him ponytail, or give her ponytails, or a ponytail or tails. And then And then, well, we added a ponytail. And then my youngest daughter came in and it's like she had her hair going down like this. And that gave me the idea to just give her small ones here. So it's like, thank you, child. Now go. No, just
Go away. You've inspired me. Leave.
Yeah.
So there you go. Those are the Jesslins. What do you think,
Oh
Jesse?
my gosh. I'm like
so
I'm still getting over being sick, but like this is like I feel like all like floaty head and excited, and these are so freaking awesome. I'm blown away, guys.
that makes that really feels great to hear. That's wonderful to hear, Jesse. And
I mean,
please feel free, like give them, like you said, Len, give the naming to Jesse.
Yes. I think that's the best plan if he would honor us with that. You have time. You have to do it on the spot, but
Yep. So I will.
well,
I will. shoot
I
you the
gotcha. I
photos
gotcha.
and-
This is
Oh.
Abigail or
Oh,
Abby.
okay.
Oh,
All right.
This he might take a minute, but and that's Tom with an H.
All right.
ooh, that went quick. Are
Tom
these
and
the
Abby.
characters
Well,
from the book?
like I said, these are Tom Guff is the character in the story that I'm gonna make this into from my book, and Abigail's the other one. I don't have a wizard one, so
It could
Perfect.
just
I-
be
Then
Tom with
this is
in-
the
Tom with the
Wilford
stash.
Brimley one. So
in Len fashion, I'm thinking of calling him like Scruff Stash, but I don't know if like
hey,
sounds like a Len name.
beautiful. Well, Jesse, we just happy that we could do something and surprise you, and we love you, and we know that you love these furry guys, and so yeah, wanted to do something for you. And I did see a few people in the chat asking about these, Len, when they'll be available. Do you have any sort of timeline or estimate that we can throw out there?
Within the next probably like 7 to 10 days, I would say.
Okay.
I don't want to, have everyone thinking like in the next couple days. So, but we're definitely, it's out a little bit. So yeah, and I would say probably in like about 2 weeks, we'll have them available.
Within the next 2 weeks, hopefully. Beautiful.
I'm
This is-
gonna have
this
to
is-
repurpose some bodies and get these done for Zolocon.
There you go.
Definitely.
This is what's so cool about Wolf King Customs. I mean, Emil did, the heavy lifting with the sculpting here. This was, Curtis's kind of idea, and he had input. Len, he does his thing too, but we're all in a chat together and we're all throwing shit around.
Yeah.
I had very little to do with this. Like, literally, it was like put a mustache.
This
on.
guy's all yours. Yeah.
That's it. But that's the fun of it for us, anyways. Is we're constantly get to bat around stuff and then see it come to life like this. It's really
Well,
fun.
I normally you do a really great job of the stories, and it sounds like if Jesse already kind of has an idea for this character and the female, maybe this would be a guy, especially since you came up with the stash idea. Maybe this is one that you can kind of come up with a little backstory for. Would be fun.
I could, or we could have Jesse do it.
That works too. So beautiful. Well,
Feel free, Jesse. Feel free.
Yep.
And if you need another
Okay.
kind of Jesslyn sometime, just say so, and then we'll make it happen. These are the
Yeah.
first.
Oh, you heard it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I can't get him to do anything, but you just go right ahead.
Jesse, tell Emil you need God's fire.
Run of the line, Jesse.
So can you make a God's Fire Jesslyn Templar?
Ooh, very nice.
Now, don't you step on these boundaries, okay? Don't-
It'd be like the little rabbit in the animated Robin Hood that like wants to be Robin Hood. It just wants to be a one of the Templars. So they're always like, "No, go away, you scruffy little thing."
Sure, I got an idea how to do this one.
All right.
But Steven,
Well-
I'm sure you know we're gonna get back to Godfire. We're working. We have plans. We know that.
Gotcha.
There are plans.
Well, folks, we did promise people a posing spectacular here. I know we've got quite a bit still to cover. Anything else to wrap up on the Jesslins? Any other thoughts from anybody or anything before we move into the posing section?
Thank you.
All right.
I'm feeling a little lightheaded.
That's
We'll
right.
Put that somewhere between all of that and not feeling good.
Well,
Thank
sit
you.
back and let's start talking about some posing. So I've got several photos that Steven had sent me, starting with this Valiant Knight. So Steven, you've obviously been well known for posing action figures. I know the guys in your group, will kind of let you pose their figures, especially Travis, and talk about, just how you get these things in dynamic poses and make them look super cool. So before we, talk about like this individual photo or the other ones that we've got, can you kind of just briefly talk about like what your thought process is as you're doing this?
Make it look cool.
Okay. There you go, folks.
Yeah.
This is the
That was
insight
even
you
worse
tuned
than
in
how
for.
I talked about sculpting. Come on, Steven.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's really weird for me to talk about because it's kind of silly to act like I'm like some. I know the guys, they amp it up and they tease and they say, oh, Steve's a master poser. What the heck is that? I play with toys. I mean, it's kind of stupid. And now I do realize that there are people that can't pose for shit because I see them all the time. And they look, it's like, how do you not know how to play with toys? I don't get it. But no, I don't know. I just start playing and that's how I play. That right there photo is taken on Emil's desk at Legion's Con, and that's like 2 seconds after I got that figure. I ripped it open because I'm like, I gotta see what this articulation can do on the Valiant Knight, and that's probably the first pose I put him in. And it's just me playing. I play, I move, I change, I look. I'm like, it needs a different hand. It doesn't look dynamic enough, and I just see how far I can push it. And there are tips you could give, but first and foremost, it's just I like to make it look like you're either about ready to spring into action or you're in action somehow.
Gotcha.
That's my a lot of my two favorite things to do. But yeah,
Okay. So this is the Red Death figure that just came out recently. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you got going on here?
just kind of I figured the Red Death, after reading the story and everything, he would kind of float across the floor.
Mhm.
He's got feet. He's not actually floating, but it was like, he would just kind of move like a, fast and smooth across the floor. That's just how I saw it.
Mhm.
And I thought that the way the robes are flowing and everything, it kind of makes it look like he's effortlessly very light on his feet to me is what I'm trying to. That's what I see when I look at that. I don't know if that transfers to anybody else, but
I'm sorry, I gotta pull up this comment from David Williams. So it's usually the people obsessed with articulation that can't pose a figure for shit. That's great.
I think he's really onto something there.
Yeah.
I need double elbow joints. No, you don't. I mean, you do, but you don't. It's like you can do cool stuff without that. You don't need,
Right. Okay. How about this one here? Now these Mondos, kind of big hulking things, a little difficult to get into a cool pose, but you've got it here, including that battle cat kind of up in the air.
Yeah, that's just a lot of people, I think people get frustrated. If I'm going to do something like that,
Mhm.
I'm removing the head on the battle cat and I'm probably taking the saddle off, because trying to articulate it, the saddle's twisting, the saddle's falling off. It's irritating you. You're getting frustrated. What I like to do instead with stuff like that, because that is a big hunk of plastic, is take all that stuff off, get really close to the pose you want, then put that stuff back on, and when you're there, and then fine tune it, because by the time you put the saddle back on, you're going to be a little bit out of where you were. And I do that a lot with like all of my, like if you're dealing with one that comes to mind is Alithia. I want to put Alithia on her horse. Well, I wanted, her waist twisted and certain different things with that. But those arms are just going to fall off. If you put all their arms on and then try to pose her there, you're going to have all kinds of problems. And so you get her in that pose first, then you put the arms on, and then you put her on the horse and fine tune. It's a lot easier if you remove the clutter. And I think a lot of people know that by common sense, but I see a lot of people that don't. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like what you've got going on here. Obviously, you put the smaller scale Tila in the background, so it makes it look like she's far away. You've got Skeletor. The pose that you've got on him here makes it look like he's legit terrified. So yeah, that's just really cool.
And people probably recognize that's from the King of Castle Grayskull mini comic. I was trying to sort of replicate that, even with Battle Cat's helmet down there. That's actually a Classics helmet, so it looks like it's farther away, back knocked off at some point. But and I don't consider myself a good photographer at all. I'm actually, Len tells me I'm a poor photographer all the time when I'm when I'm trying to show off painted parts and stuff. So
it's a very, well, what do you say, encouraging environment that we are in. It's very healthy environment for all of us. Yeah, just okay.
Uplifting, yeah, for sure. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and I know we've got some more that you're going to show later that you kind of take inspiration from, whether it's a book or a movie or whatever. Can you kind of talk a little bit about that, like how that, like, do you just see the figure and immediately think of that thing and go, I want to recreate that, or what? How does that go?
Usually it's just kind of what feels like that figure to me.
Okay.
If I'm a fan of a figure enough to buy it and then want to put it on my shelf, you have to be born with the skills.
Yeah.
So I am staying in my lane. I'm poor. I'm poor. I'm a poor photographer, Trevor. Like if I'm getting something from a movie. Okay, so like if I were to get what's his name from 300,
Leonidas.
Leonidas. If I got a Leonidas figure, first thing I'd want to do is make him kicking somebody down a hole, because that's what he is to me, and that's the scene that boom. That's the scene that resonates with me, and so I probably will try to find a way to pull that sort of thing off, and kind of like so that and I think it's fun for when people come over and they see your stuff, maybe they'll recognize what you're trying to do and say, I think that's fun.
Gotcha. So here we've got the Mezco Conan. You want to talk a little bit about this one?
It's a cool angle. It's a cool shot. I mean, I'm literally at my kitchen table here, playing, and that's what a lot of this stuff is. And as you can see, this is what I used to do as a kid too. With my G.I. Joes, I used to get down on the floor and look at them as though like if it was a TV camera, if it was a movie camera, and we were looking at this character and this guy's coming at you or something. Just that kind of urgency to get out of the way, even though he's not in front of a cool background or whatever. I'm trying to emote that with the way the figures pose. And there's a lot of ways to do that.
The thing I like about photos like this is that you can see that you're playing. I mean, like you said, you're at your kitchen table. Like, it's not set up with some cool diorama in the background and stuff. Like, I see you post stuff like this and it's like, okay, Steven's just having fun playing with his figures at the table. Like, that's awesome.
And that's what I do. And that, like I said, that's what I've always done. I think it's funny. There's one big articulation point many people overlook and they don't use, and it irritates the heck out of me.
Which is?
And that's the waist twist.
Ah.
I see often people will put their shelves up and I'll be like, that person didn't touch one waist. And the waist twist is very important. Like, you can just take a figure standing straight, and if you start out from a basic stance, which feet at like a 45-degree angle, don't have the feet sticking straight out, don't have them duck-footed either, have them a little bit of a wide stance, shoulder wide, and then if you have that pose right there, and all you do is twist the waist and turn the head, all of a sudden, boom, you've got attitude.
Mm.
And you know, everybody's, like I said, a lot of people, I need the double jointed elbows. No, you don't. You don't need the double jointed elbows all the time. So for certain poses, yes, but you don't typically need that to get to get the attitude or to get feeling from your figures, in my opinion.
So here we've got Furious 4 set. I believe is what these guys are called.
Yeah.
So what you got going on here?
Just a fun group thing, and I wanted it. It's just, I think it's fun. Petorian's back there doing nothing, but he's probably
talking.
He's probably saying some junk. DeWitt's back there doing nothing, but he's like, "Ooh, that was great," or something. I don't know. He looks like he maybe just took hit off a bong.
Yeah.
And he sees something in the sky. Cody's ready to get some work done. Cody Cat over there to the left.
Cody can't leave because he rode with you.
And then me and Travis, it looks like we're both looking in the same direction. So I guess there's some kind of a threat coming from that way.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Cool setup.
But that's another thing with a group shot I like to do is, basically everybody's kind of looking except for the Travis figure and me, the Lord Bushotee figure. We're kind of all looking in different directions, and when you look at it, you're like, well, what are they looking at? There's obviously something going on off to the left, and there's obviously something going on off to the right.
Mm.
It's a fun way to do a group shot.
Gotcha.
Make that pyramid kind of look. Always looks nice.
Maybe you guys were having fun smoking some cigars and some like redheaded, something came down at you, and so you guys are trying to fight it off.
There could be a redheaded monster coming in.
Can you go back?
Like redheaded monster like Lion-O?
This, what you talked about, the waist piece, if you look at the Travis figure there, that really makes a big difference.
It looks like you whipped
it,
around.
It's so simple to look at it, but it's so easy to not turn that waist piece, and then it would feel stiff. Now it's more, way more dynamic.
Yeah, it almost looks like he heard a noise and like turned around real quick, like he whipped around. So cool. So this one, I love this Lion-O pose here. So, and not only that, but you got the Tigra, like looks like he's getting ready to do his whole invisibility thing. So yeah, tell us a little bit about this group shot.
That's just how I have my shelf set up. That Lion-O was that's inspired by the shot at the beginning of the cartoon where he looks up at the sword like that. I love expressive faces. So, and that's when I got, because I originally had the Matty Collector version, which did not have the grimacing teeth shown head, and that's when that's the Super 7 version that did come with that head, and it's just really fun to get that expression, that mood out of it, that something is going on there, that he's Lion-O-ing out about.
Yeah, he's like shouting or like just hulking up or whatever it is. Yeah.
Did Len just put on a loop and sneak out of the chat?
It looks like his camera might be frozen.
I saw like another version of him. Maybe
it's like a cardboard cutout of Len.
No. He's just very, very still.
What's in front of his head?
David
not-
Williams says that Lion-O is actually a really hard figure to make look dynamic with the classic style body. So well done.
Yeah, I mean, the classics are not great articulated figures, way less than a Mythic Legion. But if you like Tigra, look at utilize the weight, the waist twist, and you can make things happen. I mean, a lot of the movement is implied by the whip, you know. But even I wish I could see Chitara better. She looks like she's running up and stopping. She's putting the brakes on.
Well, we could probably see her a little bit better if Super 7 didn't reduce the size of her in certain parts. So,
well, maybe.
All right. This is one that I know you painted this head and did some photos, I believe in a photo box. And I love I mean, I know you say you're not like some amazing photographer, but I really do love this shot, as well as the pose, just with the lighting and everything. So can you talk to us a little bit about this one?
I believe Len made this pic better.
Okay.
Where is he? He really is froze.
He just put in the Kinko's version of himself, the little cutout. And
we're not hearing him either, so he must be. I think Len, he did put a little bit of a filter on this or something. I don't know, the shadows or something. But yeah, the pose is really important to me. I wanted her to look vulnerable. This is 1 second before she's going to kill you, but she makes you think that she's, this maybe unassuming. The hip kick out on the side is something I always try to do with female figures. Again, we're utilizing her waist isn't twisted, but there's that top portion that gives her a little bit of a where you can take that upper body and kind of twist it, and
it gives her more of like a feminine curve to her. Yep.
And it's hard because it's one thing that now anytime I would rather have expressive hands over a double joint in a knee or a elbow any day, because that's one of the reasons why our hands are behind the back, because we don't have expressive hands for 2.0 figures yet, as far as right? That we don't. Yeah.
Correct.
So
they're coming with Poxus.
So here she is, and it's like, well, with the gripping hand, it just it doesn't look relaxed if it was hanging at her side. So it pulls them behind the back, and it gives her that unassuming look that you're kind of looking for.
We got a $5 super chat from a Len LaGuardia that just says heart you. So he's around somewhere.
In the multiverse.
There you go.
I feel like just because Instagram is a thing that I see a lot, I just feel like this is like an Instagram poster. It's like felt cute, might turn you to stone later kind of a thing.
Yes.
Yeah. For more photos, check out my, whatever.
She's like, I'm not so bad. Look at me.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm just a innocent little girl over here.
All right. And this one's a kind of a two shot. So we've got this one where he's kind of looking at and picking out the weapon, and then we've got this one. So kind of a little bit of a series of shots. So can you kind of talk to us about what you were thinking with this?
This is just me playing again. That right there, I wanted to make it look. I mean, in the God's Fire story, Dragon Warrior, the guy with all the spikes on him, him and the Fallen, which is on the ground there, they're kind of the arch enemies. They're kind of the, they're a big part of the story. Stonely fans.
Very nice.
So I just wanted that look of, obviously the Fallen I think would be our hero, but you got to have the Luke Skywalker with his hand cut off, all beat up shot to make him more of a hero in Return of the Jedi. So this is kind of the Fallen realizing that the Dragon Warrior he's no joke.
So the Fallen is fallen.
He has fallen at this point. He's like, oh shit.
I noticed on
get up?
Here he's got both pauldrons, and then here he's got one off. Was that for posing sake, or just decided to change it up?
Probably just decided to change it up, or maybe make it look like it had been knocked off or something. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know what I was thinking in the moment, but his arm's not up, so I don't think I had to remove it to get the pose, So
And is that a Mythic Legion card in the back of the doorway there?
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this one is going to be a little hard to see, but you've kind of got like this basically comic strip here. So you want to kind of talk through this?
Yeah, this is when I had gotten my first my Stone Cold Steve Austin figure, and I'm a big Stone Cold fan. And the Origins, they share bodies, so I just had to do a little thing here. I thought it was funny. It's probably funny to me and nobody else, but now this is kind of a thing like where he's given Skeletor the stunner. But obviously you can't get that pose out of Skeletor. You can't turn his head up that far. So it's obviously I took the head off and sticky tacked it to get the fun, and that's, I guess this isn't as much posing as playing, I guess, because you can't really always do that, but like to set up on a shelf, it wouldn't work.
The posing part that I really liked about this was the kick before the stunner, like the where he's kicking him in the gut.
Yeah,
like I think that look. I mean, because I've seen a lot of Stone Cold matches, and that's pretty much exactly what it looks like right there. So
yeah, and you don't have a lot of the Origins figures are articulated compared to the original, but you don't get a lot of articulation with them. That's why Skeletor isn't doubled over more. That's the best I could get. But you can still tell a story if you want to.
So here now we're starting to get into some little bit more pricier figures, maybe a little bit more articulation and some other hand and weapon options and stuff. So we got this Darth Maul here, and kind of talk through what's going on with this one.
Well, I mean, Darth Maul is constant movement, when he's fighting. And that's what's fun about him. And that's what was fun about these figures. I started collecting Hot Toys, I think, before they really started doing much Star Wars. And I was doing a lot of Marvel characters, but with the Marvel suits, they're restrictive, because the suits are always tight. Captain America's suit is tight. You can't do the waist twists. You can't do the things that you want to do. So they end up being in the best poses you can get. What I found when I started to get into the Star Wars stuff is that it's a lot of loose clothes and robes, and you can really have a lot of freedom with them. And that's what I really loved about this Darth Maul figure. I've sold a lot of my Hot Toys, but I still have this one. And this is just like, I want to put movement into this. I want to make it look like he's moving somewhere fast. And, and that's what's so cool about, the wires in his clothing. It's got that twist. I made it look like I tried to make it look like he might be about ready to spin into some sort of twist. The way the legs are moving, the stand, obviously you can do things with a stand that'll allow you to put a clip around his waist and have 1 foot off the ground. It gives you a ton more options than just a regular standard Mythic Legions figure or G.I. Joe Classified or whatever you're dealing with. But the object here, the head twist, he's obviously looking somewhere. He's looking. There's just a lot going on there that I always thought was really fun about this pose. I think it looks like he's moving.
Well, and then the red part on that dual lightsaber, it really gives it the appearance that he is spinning that lightsaber fairly quickly, which then ties into all the other movement that you've got within the figure.
Yeah, that's the goal. I love to see that when I look at people's shelves or anybody's stuff. Movement is key.
Here we've got some more Origins.
Yeah, this is not Origins. These are classics.
Oh, these are. Oh, okay. I thought my bad. I thought that was Origins.
Nope. They are. I'm trying to figure out how I did this. This is old. This is old.
You even amaze yourself.
I'm trying to figure out how I have Merman falling back like that without falling over. I know that oh, maybe there's a string on him. Okay, yep, there's a string on him. I've got fishing wire coming from the ceiling.
Oh, okay.
You can see. Yeah.
This is when I first started to get into toys. This is like back in my old diorama. This might be more 8-9 years old a picture, and I hung, even though he's just a few feet off the ground, I hung him all the way from my ceiling to get that kind of looking like he's knocking Merman.
That's awesome. I do like this this line from Stephanie Organ, 2024 year of motion, not emotion. So there you go. So next one, and I know this is one that you were kind of pretty proud of. So you want to talk about that?
Yeah, this is way back. I got the one on the left, the Deadpool on the left, which is the movie version, is mine, and the one on the right, Travis bought, and it's the sideshow version. So we were comparing at the time which one we thought was better. What I thought was cool is when I got Travis's put this up on my shelf for me and pose it, and I thought, well, because Deadpool breaks the fourth wall, this Deadpool knows it's a toy, so he's leaning on his action figure stand instead of,
Instead of using the stand.
He's using the stand, but he's leaning on it like, yeah, I know, That's what I was trying to go for with that, and I always thought it was kind of funny. And Travis left it like that. He may have sold that figure by now. I don't know if it's still up in his room, but
I love that idea.
So what did you guys come up to as far as a decision? Which one was the better one?
Travis liked his, and I liked mine, and Pete Pete was the tiebreaker. This is old school. My wife is going to kill me. It all went down on an episode, early episode. So I think Pete went with Travis's as well.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
And then we've got a couple more here. So here's another, I believe this is another hot toy, right?
Both hot toys here.
Yeah.
And this is where this is like, I remember actually popping in Revenge of the Sith and watching Anakin fight, because Obi-Wan comes with that hand, the bunny ears, and
yeah,
you kind of know what that hand is for. I mean, everybody knows Obi-Wan's pose for that hand. So although I think I probably did Google it or look at it, that one was pretty self-explanatory. It's just a matter of hitting it, hitting that pose. But with Anakin, I really wanted to make it look like like how Anakin fights. And if they're plowing through battle droids, I was posing shots of Anakin at certain points and trying to hit how he stands, how he holds a saber, where he, and Anakin does a lot of, behind him grabbing his sabers and coming over the top. And I wanted to kind of catch that as if these two are still buddies. There was 2 Anakin versions for Hot Toys. You could have evil Anakin and the good Anakin. I had the good Anakin, so I wanted to portray them kind of like if they were working together here.
Gotcha.
As brothers.
Gotcha. Got a question from Andy the Collector. Dumb question, or no dumb questions. What's the difference between Hot Toys and Sideshow?
Hot Toys are they're from Hong Kong, I believe. They're imported. I think Sideshow, I don't know if they're all made over there or what. But basically Sideshow is the American, the way I understand it, Sideshow is the American distributor for Hot Toys. But Sideshow also makes their own stuff. So if you go to, I bought most of all my Hot Toys from SideshowToy.com. But they also had their own Star Wars stuff. Hot Toys, when I was collecting, and I've been out of the game for a while, this is more of a Trevor question probably, because he's still in the game. Hot Toys were always, to me, just a step above Sideshow. Now I don't know if that's Sideshow.
Yeah, he says Sideshow's a distributor for Hot Toys, but they also make some figures.
Yeah.
So
kind of what I said,
There you
right?
go. Yep.
So yeah, Sideshow. No, like, okay, so here's the deal. This was kind of my rule with Sideshow. To some extent, if you're gonna buy a trooper, sometimes you can save a little money by going with Sideshow because they'll be really good. But if you're gonna do something with a face sculpt and you're a character like these two guys,
Right.
I would opt for the Hot Toys version than most of the time over the Sideshow versions. Although there are exceptions, I believe.
Gotcha. Schmurgerburger says you have to pose the robes as well with these types of figures. So can you kind of talk about that with the, as you're using your source material, trying to find how the character moves, but then you also have to pose the soft goods with it. What kind of things are you thinking of as you do that?
Motion. What direction is he going? What's he doing? Where would the clothes fall? Like I'm a little irritated right now with Obi-Wan's bunny ears hand because I wish his cuff was hanging down a little straighter to the ground. Or that I had the big robe cuff angled the same way so it looked like he was throwing his arm up at an angle. I see a lot of that stuff. I mean, I nitpick a lot when I look at this stuff and go, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have done this. I'm actually quite pleased with how Anakin's robe hood is lying. But that's a lot of, it's just a lot of looking at how would, I definitely spend, he's right. You do spend a lot of time on robes and cuffs and anything that you can give me a wire in, or give, anybody that collects this stuff a wire in. It's a really good thing because that's how you make those illusions to motion.
It's gonna be interesting to see you post the new wizards on the Parks's wave. I'm really looking forward to see how you post them, Steven.
I'm very excited to get my hands on those. Really excited because that's fun stuff, and I see that there's a lot of wires there to be played with.
Well, speaking of wires, like on something like this with the Hot Toys, like is all of that, like the cuff, the sides of the robe, the bottom, the tie, like is it all wired, or like what do you have to work with on this?
Well, the hoods are wired, the cuffs are wired, both cuffs, the inner cuff and the outer robe cuff. I don't think there's a wire running down the robe, if I remember right. But I don't own either of these figures anymore. I've since sold them to make room for Legions. I believe Anakin's little tabard things that hang down, I think they're wired, but that's like a leathery material. And if I remember right, the wire wasn't strong enough to really hold it in place. You could bend it, and it kind of felt like there was a wire in it, but it'd flip back to where it was. Yeah, so in those two figures, that's what I remember. Obviously, a lot of capes have wires running down them, but I don't think those two do. Just by the way the cloth is laying, but I do spend a lot of time futzing with that. Again, this is how I would have posed that. I would have taken those robes off, got them in the pose to some extent, and then probably tried to put them back on it take arms off, pop arms in, just to get things to lay right. And to lay, as close to right as you can get with a toy.
Right. So here's another one, and I know this is one that you were talking about, kind of using reference material and things like that, and we talked about, you basically pulled this straight out of the movie. So can you kind of talk about what that was like?
Well, I remember I had Luke, because that was a 2-pack. That's the original. I think it's the first thing Hot Toys did with Star Wars, which was gave you a 2-pack of Bespin Luke, one where he's not beat up, and then one where he is. So I had that for a while, and then I got that Yoda, and I'm like, what am I going to do with Yoda? And this is a scene with Yoda that I just thought was cool. Him sitting on, it gives you the log for him to sit on and everything. And I just thought of that scene when Luke is wandering towards the cave, and he picks up his blaster. He says, "What's in there?" And Yoda says, "Only what you take with you." And then he tries to put on his gun belt, and Yoda's like, "Your weapons, you will not need them." but Luke does it anyways. So that's the scene I was kind of trying to mimic here, and like, so to get the belt in his hands is like he's putting it on and trying to the tilt of the head that he might be listening to something that Yoda just said, or Yoda had just said something to him. I'm trying to fill in blanks here, but that's hopefully the scene people thought of when they looked at that shelf. I hope.
Yeah, that's
exactly
cool.
what I got when this picture first came up. I was like, oh, he just put his belt on. He's about ready to start walking.
Yeah, and I didn't even catch the whole like head turn slightly to where that ears like more towards Yoda, like he is listening to him. Yeah, that's just really cool. I mean, that's kind of stuff that I normally wouldn't even thought about. So it's really interesting to hear your thought process on that.
A lot of things I see too when people pose is eye line. They don't get the eye line right, and some poses the figure just won't allow you to get the eye line right. But if you're gonna put two action figures fighting each other and you're playing, then you want, say someone's swinging an axe overhead, and you're gonna make the other guy look like he's dodging it or he's going to dodge it. I like to always try to get the head look like he's looking at that axe coming at him. A lot of people, the bodies will be doing stuff, but there's either no eye contact when there needs to be eye contact, or they're not looking at what they're trying to do. And that's something I always try to take into consideration when I'm trying to put together any kind of a story. And I'm sure, like these guys that like Trevor who do the photography, this is all stuff, they're doing in their stuff. And, they're the posers really. And they're just, yeah, that's how it's just good stuff. It's just good things to think about when you're doing that for a shelf or a photo or whatever.
Got a $2 super chat. Jesse, you want to pull that one up?
Yeah, from G. Posing on point, Lord Steven.
Thanks.
Beauty.
Try.
Go to the next one, and this is this the same Luke, or is this is the one that you were saying that has like
that's the other
damage?
One.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep, that's the other one. You get Vader there. That's Empire Strikes Back version Vader, and that's where I had to look up. I had to go to the movie and really look how. Everybody has that vision in their head. But before I looked at the movie, I would have put that lightsaber lit up. But then I looked at the movie, I'm like, he didn't have the lightsaber ignited when he was talking to Luke. And, I wish I had more diorama pieces to make this look really, really cool. But, just trying to, I didn't, deal with what I had to make, this scene, which I don't think I need to explain to anybody. I hope.
Oh, no. I mean, even the way that you've got Luke like leaning up against the DTOF glass and kind of cradling that arm. Yeah, just super awesome. The way that that's posed there, like you could tell exactly, like forget about the scene for a second. I mean, obviously this is a very memorable scene. Everybody knows it. But if you knew nothing about that scene, you would, know that he's kind of reeling from that wound and trying to, collect himself and hold himself up. So yeah, that's really cool.
Not to take away, because this is the way you have them both posed is great in my mind, just because you have it in the clear DTOF. Like this is Luke throwing himself off.
Oh, like he's falling back.
Like he just let go.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
but no, I like that because you've the power in the fist. I've got my Black Series post similar. It does have the lightsaber on, but it's it's not meant to replicate that exactly. So like just that command and presence he has in that kind of more still, like more controlled pose is really powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the last one I've got from you, Steven. And this isn't one that you sent me for the show, but it was in our chat the other day, and I just thought this was really cool because I've been watching a lot of Joe's, and And I know kind of the gimmick with these twins, and I think you just captured it really well here. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
And that's the fun of posing. That's really one of the biggest things with art. Why I love action figures is you can just do stuff like this. This is obviously, you kick one twin and the other one feels it. It's a huge disadvantage for them guys. But it's very funny. And I just gotten those figure stands, those figure stands that all the guys are using. And I remember when I got them, Curtis says, "What do you need those for?" Well, this is stuff you need those for, because I couldn't get those guys in, or I couldn't get the one guy that's getting kicked in the stomach. I couldn't get him to stand like that without some sort of support. And using the figure stand was enough. And using his right leg, his toe is touching the ground to give him a little bit of a support there. Having it off the ground and his back heel up gives you that kind of a he's off balance look. But it's really actually what's holding him up. It's just fun. And to be able to recreate or make, not really recreate, but just show a scene and show a gimmick or something that is funny to this is really funny.
I thought this was so cool because, I've seen a lot of, these twins, especially, I think some of these have shown up at Ross, and so a lot more people have been getting these for their collection because they're a little bit cheaper. But I've never seen anybody pose them with that gimmick from the cartoon where like the one's getting hit and the other one's feeling it. So I just thought this was really cool. He's getting kicked in the gut and the other one's hunched over. I was like, this is freaking genius. And I don't know why I've not seen anybody else do this. So
that's the first thing I think of when I see the twins is that stupid gimmick,
Yeah.
And it's like, I remember laying in bed. I was laying in bed at night thinking about toys because that's how much of a dork I am. And I was like, and I thought this up, and I'm like, tomorrow I'm going to do that.
He's planning his toy playing day for the next day. That's
I like
awesome.
that.
And that's why we love Steven. So that's the last picture that I had that you had sent me, but I've got a couple that I was like trying my hand at doing some posing, and I wanted to throw a few shots up here and have, you, Steven, and as well as Jesse and Emil just kind of critique me on some posing I did, because I am definitely not a great poser. Like if you look at these detox behind me, a lot of these figures are just in static poses, facing forward, maybe a hand on a weapon or something, but that's about it. So this first one is Mafex Spider-Man, and I've got him kind of on this little 3M ledge that they sell at Target. That it's like a little tiny shelf, like floating shelf, and I've got him like looking over my X-Men display. So we'll start with you, Steven. What are your thoughts on this pose here?
I like what you got going on there. If it were me, what I would try to do, and I'm not saying this will work because balance and weight has a lot to do with how you can actually get a figure in, but I would twist that waist. I would make his left shoulder closer to the floor and maybe bring his hand out closer to his left foot.
Okay.
Because right there, it kind of looks like there's something unnatural about that right there. Like make a line across his left. Nope. His right arm is up in the air. Make that almost a continuous line with his left arm.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
Okay.
If possible, and you might need to change the angle of that right leg and put it out a little bit more to make it all balance. Like bend that knee, straighten that leg a little bit at the knee to make it all work. Might have to happen, but that's what if I was going to criticize, that's what I would criticize. Is that's the only thing. But it's really good. It's a lot better than static.
All right, Emil.
Yeah, if there's one thing, it would be the lower part of his torso and crouch. That's I think the lower torso should be pointing towards the front leg.
Towards the front. Okay, gotcha.
So it's like now his whole torso is well, what you say, to his right, and I think that could be good, but maybe his lower part of it needs to be to his left. You know, like he's
Gotcha.
twisting it.
Okay. And Jesse.
They nailed what I was going to say. The first thing it made me think of when I saw it though was like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man pose. That just because he had a very distinct way of like all three of the movie ones have distinct ways of posing, and that's what I saw first when I saw this. It made me think of like that, like him doing that land and everything. But I think it's a great pose, and yeah, I agree with the other guys.
All right. I took this next one right before the show, so we'll start with Jesse this time. Jesse, what are your thoughts on this one?
I love when people get the foot forward pose, where it looks like they're walking, because that's just impressive to me when people can get a balance. I know the holding on to Mutt there is probably helping keep his balance and everything, but I think that's pretty cool. Again, like Steven said on the last one, just the only thing is maybe turn the hips a little bit into the step forward. But otherwise, I think it's great. He's got gun up. He's holding the dog back and ready to take on whatever's coming at him.
Emil?
Yeah, I like that. I like this a lot. I agree with Jesse. Just a tiny bit leaning over his front step leg.
Yeah. And
Not much, though.
okay, Steven, before you tear me apart, I will say I tried my best to try to get it to where it was like he was looking down the gun, but it wasn't quite right. Like it's still a little bit too low. So I don't know if you have any other pointers on that, but overall, what do you think on this?
Overall, I like it a lot. Again, I would put some waist twist in there. Whether it's either way, I think either way could make it look a little different. If you put his shoulder that is holding on to Mutt or Junkyard, sorry. If you put that back, it would almost probably look like he's holding the dog back. And if you put that forward, it would look like the dog is dragging him forward because like Mutt's, right. If that makes sense. But, in that case where you're not able to get that, you're not going to get that up to his eye unless you straighten out the arm, and that's going to look weird without a pistol. So you could switch it to a pistol and then have his arm straight out, and that would look really cool.
Okay.
Another thing to do though is to just have the gun up.
Okay.
It's not pointing and everything, but it would look like a more natural way of him managing the weight of his gun with one arm, because that's a rifle.
Gotcha. Okay. And I've got one last one. We will start with Emil. Now, just so you're aware, this is also on a shelf. This is overlooking my X-Men display, and Iceman is looking down on a Sentinel, about to do some damage. So, Emil, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just trying to. If I would do that, I have to go with turning the torso, the upper torso, way a little bit more back.
Okay.
With punches, just a little bit, because now his crouch and his torso is aligned, and you just have to change it a little bit to make it feel more dynamic.
Yeah, and I know Steven talked about that earlier, and I'm noticing not only on this, but the other stuff in my display. Yeah, definitely not twisting that waist enough. So, okay.
Twist, but I think Neil's talking about the ab crunch, rocking it back, so it looks like he's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like winding up more.
Yeah,
but also twisting the torso. It's both of those things. It's twisting and then,
Gotcha.
I think it's funny. I said often the most thing I see is people don't twist the waist. I think all three pictures of you showed didn't have any waist twist.
Not really.
One more thing. Then, if you do that to make the whole movement look even more powerful, this arm that is pointing downward, make that a bit forward.
Okay.
Like this, because then we have this line here, when you stretch out the moments, it's kind of like when you're dancing, you know, the exaggerated things look more, you know, it feels like this is too much, but it's really not too much, you know?
Yeah.
I think
Steven?
another thing, just off me going off into a different thing, another thing that helps some people with posing figures, if they have an art background, like I wouldn't say I have an art background, but I've tried to draw my whole entire life, and I've looked at a lot of comic books, and that over exaggeration of what they do in comics. I think that puts your mind in that space when you're also playing with figures. I agree with everything Emil said right there. I don't know if I really have anything to add to it. I think he nailed it.
Okay. And Jesse?
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. I think getting that right shoulder back, and like sometimes if I do the pose myself, if it's something I can physically do, and try to like feel how my body's moving and try to, I mean, not that I'm a great poser, but that's what I do is I try to like, all right, because that's how I would do with drawing too. I'd try to pose something out, and if I could get a picture or just, you know, feel what was moving, and you know, and like go through the motion of what you're imagining him doing, so you can kind of get the range of things. But yeah, I think and that Iceman is a pain in the butt to pose. So
Yeah, he's not
there's I mean, he's got like the double joints and everything, but like it's just, it feels like everything's too short. I think a lot of legends feel like that to me, where their arms just feel like they're not quite long enough to do some of the touching the ground poses and stuff. So
yeah, and it's even got like the butterfly, but it doesn't. It's not a full range of motion. It's
that
not
one
the
on
easiest,
him, it
but-
works better if you're coming in like this to do like the ice bridge, you know, the ice slide
Gotcha.
thing. At least the one I had, I think it's the same one.
It looks like
Yeah,
there's an awful deep cut for his butterfly.
Yeah,
I don't
like
have
Jesse
that.
said, it's real. You can really get it forward, but trying to go back, it doesn't want to go back very far. But I appreciate the tips there, and I think that'll definitely help me kind of take that to the next level, especially the waist twist, because I definitely am not doing enough of that. So, all right. Well, that was
I would say
all.
the figure that is the most fun to pose of all the figures that I have in my collection is the Red Death.
Yeah.
I have it on my desk the whole time, and it's like waiting for some paint to dry or whatever. I just take it up, and I have it here just before we're waiting to go live. You know, I'm posing it and posing. It's like, all right, that makes me go off, you know, just having fun.
It is a fun figure.
Yeah, for me, it's been the Valiant Knight. It's one that Darla and I we keep on the desk, and we don't put it anywhere else. And like I'll put it in a pose and I'll leave it for her to find, and then she'll put it in a pose and leave it for me to find. So like right now it's in a kind of a walk like an Egyptian pose. But yeah, I mean it's just a fun one. You know, some of these figures, yeah, it's fun to play, like Steven was saying. And I think that's one of the things that I probably also need to pick up from Steven is just to play more. Because, you know, I told you guys, yeah, that's cool. So like I told you guys in our chat, like what I typically do if I get a new figure, especially like you know, something that's not Mythic Legion. If I get like a McFarlane or a G.I. Joe or something, I'll Google that figure and then I'll look at the images on Google and I'll find a pose that I think is really cool. And then I try to copy it as best as I can, like try to get that figure in that pose. You know, because it's hard for me to kind of envision what that should look like and where the body parts should be and stuff. And that helps quite a bit. But I think, you know, what Steven's saying about the twist of the waist, and then also just playing with your figures and what Jesse's saying too, like imagine, like make your own body, make that motion and see how it would look. And then try to translate that into the character that you're posing. So
head left and right is a big deal too.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of attitude from a head tilt.
Gotcha.
Us as humans, we're moving our heads around all the time. And you know, having a cock, you know, you're looking, if you were looking down a gun to check it to see if it was loaded or something, you would tilt your, you got to always pay attention to that you're doing things with your head all the time and incorporate that into your poses as well.
Yeah. Well, Jesse, I know we don't have time to go through the entire Toyology Instagram, but can you pull it up real quick and maybe we could check out just a couple of his posts? And I know we were trying to get folks to
Curtis, before you go there,
yeah,
are you guys find me rude if I hang up at this
not
point?
at all. It's what, 3 o'clock in the morning or something. So
3:40.
Yeah. No, get some sleep, man.
Emil,
This was a lot of fun, and I see you soon.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and thanks for the Jesslins. You killed it. So
I can't sign into Instagram.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
asking me for a code, and I don't know where this code is supposed to come from.
okay. Well, thanks
Bye for now.
anyways, Emil. Yep.
Thanks, Emil. Thank
I
you
will-
for the thing.
Yes, thank-
Jesslins.
Well, why don't you? I'll see if I can get it up on Instagram, and you guys can carry on the conversation for a second.
could you believe Emil just left? What a jerk.
Oh, unbelievable! At least he didn't put up a fake image of himself and just take off like Lynn. Let's check up on Lynn. How's Lynn doing? Yep,
Oh,
still there,
still there.
still frozen.
What? There's something in front of his head. Like there's some sort of weird overlap going on here.
Yeah, it's like his printer is in front of his face. All right. Yeah, you guys talk amongst yourselves. Let me take a look here.
Oh, I feel bad. I didn't grab any pictures of stuff, but yeah, the one thing, like you were saying, Steve, like the who's the character, especially if it's a character from a story or a movie or a show or something. Like you said you were looking at stuff for Star Wars to get inspiration for their poses and stuff, but like like some of the D things like Nightwing or some of those things that Curtis has been getting, like if you can't find the comics, like I can't do probably 99% of the poses that Nightwing does other than just like standing up, and even then he probably does it better than me, but like just like like Optimus Prime for me, like he's always got to be a little more up, a little more shoulders back, because he's just got that that
Heroic.
John Wayne swagger to him, which I know was what was it? I guess he based him off is it Paul Welker? Based him off his brother.
Mhm.
And his brother kind of had the whole John Wayne vibe going. So if you got something who's like goblins, I always got to like get those lower legs like crouch. They don't walk up straight. They always got like that crouch to them, and that
Mhm.
probably just comes from watching all the behind the scenes on Lord of the Rings. We had like Terry Notary and those guys doing like the orc camp, like how to move like an orc and stuff. And
Mhm.
looks like Curtis has got this.
Well, I
pulled up.
do, but I'm trying to. Oh, here we go. It's going to be very hard to see on this, but so like this is crouch pose for Spider-Man, and it kind of some of the same things that you guys were talking about. So it's showing like kind of what not to do and what to do, and he's got him more leaned in and like
Mhm.
lower, and
Mhm.
he's more of that slant like Emil was talking about. And then as you go through here, it like actually, and we're not going to be able to see it on here, but it actually gives you like some tips on each body part and how you should actually have it. So I really love this Instagram. If you go to this Superman flight one, I thought was really good.
Send some of those over here, Len.
Yeah. So like, don't have him flying straight forward with a fist, but more like the arms are curved in this picture. Like he's actually swinging it, kind of almost throwing like haymakers. And it like I said, it talks about each body part, and it like here it's showing like to twist the waist just a little bit. So yeah, I just think this is a really cool Instagram account. It's Toyology. Anybody that wants it, because it kind of breaks that down for those of us that this doesn't come natural, like Steven. This really breaks it down on how to create these like super dynamic poses. And I just think he does a really good job. And like I
does.
said, we'll try to get him back on here at some point when our schedules line up more. This Nightwing one is really cool. He's got some really neat stuff in this one.
Yeah, I couldn't mimic these poses to try to figure out how to pose the figure.
Yeah.
Not if I didn't want to sprain something.
Yeah, that would be hard to get my body into as well. But like even like just like
twisted
this
the wire
one,
around yourself.
yeah, like this one just like down low, batons behind him, looking forward. I mean, what from your perspective, Steven, anything else that you would have on something like this?
No, that's fantastic. I wish I could see, like, he's got the background's all whited out, so I wish I could see like how.
Oh,
are
like
those
where
feet,
the
are those
foot-
feet
yeah,
on the ground? I mean,
Gotcha.
With,
yeah.
In other words, would this stuff work on a shelf, or is it supported somehow?
Yeah.
Like that can't work on a shelf, I don't
No.
think.
I don't think so, unless yeah, you would have to have some sort of stand or like flight stand or something.
Flight stands and stuff, you can do a lot with that stuff, and
Yeah.
and he's great. I mean, it looks like it reminds me of that old How to Draw the Marvel Way book, where it shows you what not to do and then what to do to make the figures dynamic, and it looks a lot of that sort of stuff.
Now this one's actually like a customizing mod to make your figure have a little bit more movement, so that might not be kind of what we're talking about. Here's something about like posing the capes, and it's talking about like just how to get really cool looks for those capes spread out or blowing in the wind. Or
so you see how he's got that nice curve in Batman's cape, and there's a wire in there, I'm assuming, and if you just take, I wish I had a cape in front of me, but I don't think I do, damn it. If you take the cape, if you hold it and you have a wire and you bend it, so like pretend I'm doing this at a right angle, and you just run it down the wire, that thing will curve like that.
Oh, okay.
So grab the wire, hold it with one hand, grab the wire, turn it, and then go whoop, and it'll just go whoop.
Gotcha. See, like this is kind of cool how it's he's doing that like thunder slap or whatever, and he's got the cape is just kind of flying behind him, and yeah, that's pretty neat. So, yeah, I think that's kind of what you're talking about there, where it's curving.
Yep.
Beautiful. Yeah. So check out this Instagram. Check out Steven's. I know Steven's is mostly his like customs and stuff. Which is do we have a banner for Steven's thing or no?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't make a banner.
It is it Steve's Art and Toys? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Steve's Art underscore and underscore toys.
Yeah,
But if you want to see a lot of the pictures I've taken of figures, you'll see a lot of that at Wife is Killing Me Instagram.
Gotcha. Here's Steven's Instagram. So Steve's _art _ toys. So maximize the underscores there. But yeah, you can see a lot of his custom work. Obviously, he just finished these Scrooge sculpts, which have been like I've seen a lot of people excited for these. You got the one with the hat on, and this is on a Jacob Marley body. You got the one with the kind of the nightcap, and you did this on a Red Death repainted, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So cool stuff. I did. This is one that I thought the pose was really cool, because the way that you had that safe, like just kind of barely lifting off in the background over on the one side, does make it look like it's super heavy, but he's just trying to drag it along.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. It's just a little sticky tack there to make it pop up like that and stay in place.
Yeah, that's awesome.
His left shoulder, the way it's like kicked back, and the front knee, you really feel that. Like if you've ever pulled anything heavy, like you know that pose.
Yeah, for sure. Here's one that you did with the That's the Vorga gun, and is that a barbarian builder body?
Yeah, barbarian
Gotcha.
builder, kind of making like a space barbarian
Yeah.
kind of guy.
Very cool.
So does he have a loincloth, or is it just the gun belt?
No, I think he has. It's that. I think he does have a loincloth. It's just.
And this one I actually picked up from you because it was badass. So
Yeah, those colors are great.
oh, so fantastic. I mean, listen, you could do anything to a Sentry and I'm gonna love it. But yeah, Steven's paint job on this was it's just such unique colors that I wouldn't have even thought to put together. But I know exactly what happened here. And I know because you told me, but even if you didn't tell me, I would look at this and go, he was experimenting with some flat colors and just throwing some different things on to see what it looked like. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Love the flat.
And I gotta say, I love seeing you get to pose the Armies of Ashmore stuff because you do such a good job with posing and like figuring it out how to really show off the dynamic poses that figures can get into. I hate when I see like Hasbro do like a Marvel or a Star Wars thing because like everybody's got like that same like really bad 2 hands up fighter pose, and I'm like, why is that character would never do that pose? Like it's like every figure gets that pose, and
No, you gotta look at your characters. Like if you go back to Optimus Prime, like you were saying, I'm not necessarily going to put him into the crazy dynamic fighter pose. I'm going to have him standing up with a wide stance, heroic pose. He's the leader, and he's going to be out front. And then the soldiers behind him might be in those ready to fight poses because that might be their character. Not every character do you need to have. Not every character has to be Spider-Man. Not every character they don't need it. It's like on my G.I. Joe shelf, I got Hawk out front, and he's not standing in some crazy fighting pose. He's holding a shotgun, but not he's like carrying it, and he's standing straight up, and he's looking out trying to make a decision on where he's going to send his guys. But then the guys out behind him, their weapons, brandishing all their weapons and ready to go. It just Cobra Commander, he's a heel. He's always going to be pointing and you know what I mean? And go and
I've got my Cobra. He's got the finger hand pointing out, and he's got the other hand back. And I got some accessory set, so he's got the Megatron in the gun form, like in his other hand.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on what story you're trying to tell with each character and how you get it across. I did want to pull this one up, and it's not a posing one, but Jesse, you were talking earlier about like how sometimes these things have really good sculpts, but the factories don't do amazing paint jobs. And this is one that Steven repainted that I think just I know a lot of people have complained about this head. But really you throw a good paint job on it, it makes a world of difference.
Yeah, I constantly see people looking for all alternative heads for Falcon here. And I've seen a lot of people resort to they'll go buy a painted head from someone else. And I'm like, just have that head painted, because I don't think it's really that bad once it's
like there were definitely some Star Wars ones before they started doing like the face app, like the more photo real app or whatever they started doing. That's great.
Yeah, this is not great, but then afterwards it's like, is that Kurt Russell? Like I was like, I need another one of those painted up so I can make a Tombstone figure. So
you took the plastic feel out, like a lot of that flesh tone, like I can see what they're going for, but it just comes across as like weird like CPR mannequin and not realistic. So like that totally transforms that face, that paint job.
Yeah, absolutely. So and listen, I've talked about it a million times, but like your flesh tones are absolutely the best in the business. Like I would put it up against anybody. I just love the way that you are able to, do the blending, the different from the shadows to the highlights and just really make it look like a realistic, paint or realistic flesh tone and stuff on there. Like, we pulled this picture up earlier, but like her face looks absolutely gorgeous and ties right into it with the body. The paint matching is just phenomenal. So,
well, thank you very much. There's a lot of great painters out there, so I'm just trying to keep my head above water among them.
Oh, you're doing a great job. So, like, look at this thing. Dude, that looks like something real, like in a movie that's ready to just like jump out at you.
Yeah, that looks like someone's prosthetics, like applied makeup.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like it looks like, is there even in that eyeball up there, is there like some bloodshot in that eyeball?
Yeah.
That's freaking
I mix
cool.
a little with, if it's a bigger eye like that,
I'll
mix a little red into the whites and put it in the corners.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Yeah, so cool stuff here. So check out Steve's Instagram. It does some amazing custom work. He's got quite a few shows that he attends. Definitely going to be at MesquiCon coming up, and Legions Con. Do you have anything else that you're going to be selling stuff at this year besides those two?
Planning on being at King County with Travis too.
Okay.
Which I think is a week or two after MesquiCon.
Gotcha.
Muskegon, Michigan, March 16th. We're having a Mythic meetup thing there. It's a fun time if anyone wants to come to a smaller show that's got some horsemen are going to be there. I think Jim's going to be there for sure. I'm not sure if the other has been announced to everybody. But anyways, it's a great place. There's going to be Mythic Legions figures there, street teams going on, Wolf King Customs. So you're going to be able to get Mythic Legions figures at Mythic Legions at 4 Horsemen prices.
One of the 3 Eurolegion boys will be there. We got Malcolm coming.
Yeah. We got Malcolm coming. We got Trevor's going to be there, I believe. There's a
Eric
pretty
Miller's
big list.
going to be there. Yeah.
Miller's going to be there, who was there last year. I don't need to say how great of a painter he
Maverick
is. Everybody
says,
knows.
"Did I miss Len?" Here you go, Maverick. Here's Len. So
That camera's definitely moving because whatever's
the printer is covering more of his face as the time goes on.
That is strange.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah, see you. You'll be at the Wolf King table at MesquiCon. I'm guessing,
and
you're
you guys are
going to
be there.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely be there. Yep, we'll be at the table with you. But as far as like people being able to buy your stuff, I'm guessing you'll have the normal setup, maybe some customs, definitely some heads, that kind of thing.
Yep, working on heads now. There's going to be I'll have some good stuff. But more importantly, just hoping to talk to some people and say hi.
Beautiful. All right. Not ZoloCon though, right? You're not going to Zolo this year?
I won't be at ZoloCon this year.
Okay.
I love ZoloCon, and if you're close to ZoloCon, you should go. It's a great show.
Gotcha. Okay. What else? Anything else we need to discuss before we wrap this thing up?
Well, there was one last question.
Okay.
I think it was more for you and I, but where you guys find the picks for the show, any specific hashtag or algorithm luck? I don't know if you want to take that one first, Curtis.
Yeah. So typically I, like first I'll just, if I see something through the week, like people that I'm already following, I'll just, snap a picture of it and kind of just throw it in there. If I don't, then I'll go through the little search thing on Instagram, and I don't type in anything. I just pull up the search, and they try to cater some of that based on your kind of like the stuff that you like and have commented on and stuff. So sometimes I'll find new folks in there, you know, whether it's photographers or customizers, whatever. And I'll just click on a picture that I like, and I'll check out their other stuff. And if it's cool, then I'll follow them, and I may take a picture from that. And then at the very end of the week, if I don't have 4 pictures, then that's when I'll do like hashtag Mythic Legion Cabal, hashtag Legion's Lounge Art, things like that. And just see what else is out there that maybe I might have missed that may not have hit my feed. But the first thing is just stuff that I'm already following. Second thing is the search. And then third thing is kind of hashtags. But that's my method for pulling up the shelf selections.
That's pretty much the same thing. Like I'll just be scrolling through my feed. If I see stuff from people I'm following or suggestions, same thing. Or like you said, I'll hit that, you know, that search for you page or whatever it's called. And just, if there's anything cool in there, and just grab it and share it and then go from there. Or every now and then someone will send something that they like from someone else, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. I hadn't seen that one, even though I follow the page or whatever, because, you know, algorithm, you lose stuff even if it's stuff you follow. But yeah,
beautiful. Maverick says that Red Death cosplay will be there. I'm guessing that he's talking about MosquitoCon, so that'd be cool. Carver Custom says they booked their room for MosquitoCon, so they don't have a table, but yeah, it'll be great to see Brian and his wife there. And then we've got a $2 super chat from G. Great show, guys. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, G.
Yeah, just really appreciate it, Steven. You know, you've given me definitely some tips. I'm hoping some other folks had picked up some cool things from you. And make sure you follow Steve, follow Toyology on there. Yeah, that it's, you know, it's definitely an art form in and of itself, just the posing of it. And I like that a lot of yours just comes from having fun and playing with the figures. So that's a good lesson to everybody. Just enjoy these things that are toys.
Yep.
Awesome.
For sure.
And
thanks.
You know, thanks
I
again.
hope that,
go ahead,
David. I hope that meant you're going to go pose your toys.
Yeah, not lose. Yeah.
I hope you don't lose them.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
It was fun.
And you know, thanks again to the whole Wolf King crew, especially Emil for the Jesslins. I think that's going to be a great addition to the Wolf King library. Can't wait to get some of those painted. It looks like that's going to be a dry brush dream. So I can't wait to get some cool dry brushing on those. Yeah. Anything else, Jesse, before we bump Steven backstage?
No, just a huge thank you for the time and all that you bring to the community and Wolf King, and just being you, and for Len for being here for a little bit before putting up his failed Mission Impossible decoy screen.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great.
Well, Steven, we're gonna put you backstage. If you've got to go, we totally understand. If not, hang out and we'll be right back with you as we close out the show.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All right. Thanks. There you go. Another fun one in the books. That was kind of a unique one for us, you know, just really focusing on kind of one topic and spending some time on it. That was a lot of fun. That
was, and you totally blew me away with those sculpts. That was amazing.
I've definitely been giving Emil a hard time lately about doing more sculpting and less painting. So it was fun to see him not only work on something and create some really cool characters that are just, I mean, adorable as the Dickens, but also like for it to be something that, you know, is named after you and is something that we, you know, really were working on to, you know, just, you know, I don't know, as something as for you, because we like you and stuff. So
I'm still trying to process all that, but thank you. And it's amazing. And yeah.
Well, think about a name for that wizard one. And if you want to create a story for it, do that. If you want to, you know, tap the talented Stephen Bushotee to create a story for it, that's always an option as well too. So,
okay.
Beautiful.
Okay.
What else? We got a guest next week, right?
We do. I didn't get the artwork finished because my iPad was being a dork. Or I was just missing something. I don't know. It just wasn't working. Next week, we've got another duo. We've got Amber Gonzalez and Tanya McCoy.
Hashtag Legions Ladies.
We started putting this together before Legions Ladies was a thing. It just took this long to get to when the dates were available for them. So so they'll be joining us and repping the Legions Ladies and everything. So tune in next week for that. Same usual time, 8:00, right here with them, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and check out all the other shows too. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff out there. We did a show on Friday night that was a lot of fun. I'm probably gonna have to send that link to Jeremy DeWitt because we covered like cereal toys and fast food toys and stuff. I think that's right up his alley. So I may send him the link for that. So if that's stuff that interests you, check out that one. Saturday had a real fun time watching the Saturday Live crew, and then Purple Gang, baby.
There you go.
So, but yeah, Legions Ladies this Thursday, they got Walter, the madman himself. So check them out. Legion's Lair on Tuesday, they've got Kevin Boots. Yeah, and I think Legion's Lounge back this week too.
I think so.
They were off last week. I think they're going to be back this week. No Jeremy Gerard. He's taking a month off. Well deserved time.
He did say he might show up on other shows from time to time during that month. But
looks like we got a Poxus unboxing tomorrow. That'll be fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Beautiful. Well, thanks everybody for showing. It's been a lot of fun, and Jesse, we hope that you continue to get better.
I'm almost there.
Also, sending out love and good vibes to CB. Continue to get better as well. Love you, CB, and hopefully we'll see you. Not too long at some shows and just hanging out and having a good time with everybody. So,
absolutely. Well, thank you everybody for being here tonight. I'm going to find the button, and I'm not going to cut myself off this time. But you know what, Curtis? Until next time.
What's on your shelf?